Trimble just 24 hours or so before the most important fight of Adam Kownacki's boxing career. This is at least what he says. He also says one thing over and over. When people ask him, why did you lose the first fight, winning first 3 rounds versus Helenius? He said, because I wasn't listening to my trainer. What was he not listening to?
The bottom line was, in between the 3rd and 4th round, I noticed Helenius going back to his corner. He was breathing heavy. You know, the body shots were definitely taking a toll on him. But I also felt Adam was trying too hard for the knockout. You know, maybe it was the pressure of being the main event. Obviously, Barclays Center filled with his fans, Polish fans. But I just think he was trying too hard. So I even said in between rounds, you got to calm down, not look for the knockout, let it happen. And unfortunately, went back out there, swinging for the fences, head up in the air. You know, he threw a right hand. Helenius is moving back, just kind of clips him with the right hand. And, you know, things happen from there.
Things happen from there. The first couple of rounds, I don't think so you could have any problems with his performance because he was doing what he's supposed to do. Like you said, all of us, I was sitting with a bunch of guys from the US media saying this thing is gonna be over soon, over for Adam Kownacki. So you told me what he did wrong, what he did right in the first, let's say, 2.5, 3 minutes. I mean 6 minutes.
Yeah, well, he came out, you know, using his jab. Obviously, listen, at the end of the day, I think what a lot of people may not understand is when a shorter person is fighting a taller person like we are, is you have to out jab that person. Everybody thinks you got to jump in with hooks, so you see shorter guys throwing the hooks, trying to bomb away, just head down, swinging to get that distance. But you got to throw 2 or 3 jabs to match their 1 jab. And I thought Adam was doing that well. And when he got to the body, you know, he was working the body well. Again, even though I felt he was doing pretty well in those first earlier rounds, just he was trying to go too hard, and I think he was just trying too hard for the knockout. And I always tell all my fighters, you know, once you start looking for a knockout, anything can happen. You leave yourself open, and you just got to let it happen. You just got to let the knockouts come. You can't go out there trying to finish somebody. You know, once you get them hurt, of course, you jump on and try to finish it. But you can't just go out there and, you know, fighting, trying to knock people out to make your fans happy and so on. Like, once you're in that ring, you got to forget about everybody. You're not doing this anymore for your family, for your friends. You're the one in there. Your life is on the line. You got to be smart. You got to throw intelligent punches as much as possible. And, you know, hopefully you come out with that victory.
So let's simplify. If he does whatever he did first 3 rounds or 2.5 rounds, this thing is in the bag? I mean, of course it's not. We know the other guy wants to do what he did in the first round, but technically speaking.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if Adam can fight more under control and not let emotions get the best of him, I honestly believe he will get redemption and he's going to walk out with his hand raised. Am I going to sit here and say he knocks him out in 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds? I'm not that coach. I'm not that guy that's going to be a loudmouth and scream, my guy's knocking you out. At the end of the day, however he wins, I just know Adam will get his hand raised, and that's what we're looking for. Knockout is great. Do I feel it can happen? 100%. But the bottom line is Adam's in control of himself. If he lets himself get too emotional, anything can happen. If he remains under control, you're going to see a really great performance, I feel, out of Adam.
I spoke with a couple of Helenius people, and they are also very confident, saying Robert is here to win this fight, to repeat the performance from March of 2020. His trainer saying, not sure if you're paying attention or not, knowing you probably not. His trainer is saying, my fighter loves the guys who are going forward because he's the best counter puncher there is. This kind of talk. Are you paying any attention to that it's more about Adam than whatever Helenius is going to do?
No, I'm not worried about what Helenius is going to do. Listen, it's 2 guys that are going to be in there fighting. You know, people with their game plans, this and that, all that. I just feel you go in there with a certain game plan and things don't start working that way, the fighter gets lost. Adam's coming here to do a job. Helenius obviously is going to do whatever he needs to do, but Adam's going to fight his fight. And it's not it's not a no-brainer. Adam's 6'3", this guy's 6'9". What is Adam going to do? He has to go forward. Where he's going to fight on the outside, I mean, boxing, listen, is a hard sport, but people try to make this like it's rocket science. Adam needs to work behind his jabs, and once he can get onto the inside, you know, we'll see what happens. It's all about moving forward. He's going to have to move forward, create angles also, and keep the distance. You got to cut down the distance. It's again, it's not rocket science what's going on here. I'm
going to say that you are in the school of Tyson Fury, who said exactly the same 2 days ago, and saying people making too much of how boxing complicated is basically two guys hitting each other in the face, and whoever hits more usually wins. It's easy sport. This is, I mean, probably it is. But the one question which I don't have any problem with, knowing Adam for a long time, some of the people are saying he's just putting too much pressure on himself, saying this is to be or not to be for me in a real boxing. But this is the truth. I mean, he can lie to himself, but why would he? Too much pressure on himself, or it's okay with you?
Honestly, it's okay. I mean, you can't. I think they all put extra pressure on themselves. I definitely feel like the fighters that like to talk a lot and they're very outspoken and starting problems before the fights, that to me is a lot of nervous energy, and that's putting more pressure on yourself. Because if you don't go out there and do what you say you're going to do, you kind of look like a fool. But you know, boxing's also unforgivable. You lose one or two fights, you know, you really go down. Unfortunately, it's not like the MMA world. You could lose a couple of fights and then win a couple back and you're fighting for a title again, you know. In boxing, it's different. So you really lose a fight, you lose another one, you can really be lost. So I do feel, you know, he's putting some added pressure a little bit on him, but that's okay. He's not putting it to where I feel like he's gonna come out and just start going crazy and try to get, you know, again, look for a knockout. But he needs that little kick in the ass too, you know. The last fight, I honestly thought that, you know, he let everything get to his head a little bit too much, doing meet and greets 2 weeks before the fight and everything else, and, you know, kind of got lost of the fight itself. So, you know, his head is focused and he's just looking at Helenius, and that's it. Nothing. Everyone's like, oh, you win this, maybe you get a title shot again. And he's simply saying, and I'm saying, it's one fight at a time. You don't get a title shot, you know, if you lose. You got to win this fight, and then we'll move on from there.
Thank you very much, Kid Trimble. Simple, to the point. Thank you very much, Coach. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.